That boy who used to spend days in the garage with only his imagination and a couple hand tools has gotten lost in the grind of the real world. I think it's time we find him. Today's woodworking project came on quick, and I'm glad it did. I've been splitting wood every morning this week, and I was whooped. More than content to sit back and waste the rest of the day passed out on the sofa with the cats. I needed something to grab and shake me up, and this did. Look, I didn't want to do another fall build so soon, but this one called me and, well, it's fall. If you want an easy DIY build that can be done with store-bought lumber, this is it. It can be done with only glue and a handsaw. But this is me, and I really enjoy making something from nothing or next to nothing. So I'll be using my 2x4 chunks and using every inch I can. I always say inspiration comes from anywhere. And today it came from Home Depot. Yeah, right? I never saw this one coming. The Cutlist is on the screen, 2x2s and furring strips, cheap. So pause the video, copy and paste, print the screen, hit like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, come on, you know I had to get it in there somewhere. When I saw today's build, I fell for the colors. It's no surprise. Colors have been stuck in my head since my faux birdhouse build. I haven't even hung it up yet. I just look at it some days and it makes me smile. So I ripped some 2x4s down to 2.5 inches wide, then flipped them upright and ripped them again to create my own 1x3s. Let's lay some tapes out and try to get some dimensions. We'll start with 16 inches long and maybe 8 inches high. This is just a ballpark though. You can adjust to whatever you got. Close the gap, widen it a little taller, shorter, just fit it to the wood you have. It's a perfect scrap wood build. And this is looking a little short to me, so let's bump it up to 18 inches long. I cut them to length at the miter saw, 6 at 18 inches for the sides and 6 at 10.5 for the ends. And 4 slats for the bottoms. We'll go roughly 16 inches and cut to fit as needed. Pretty simple. I just stack them too high and take it down slow and easy, cutting them to size. And then it's off to the wen at 120. I'm not going crazy here. Since I ripped my 2x4s, I have ink stamps and rough edges I need to smooth over a touch. Nothing major. All sides get rounded over. I hate splinters. Back at the bench we begin. Now, if you went the dimensional lumber route, you would be looking at these or something like it. 2x2s, basically half a 2x4. If you rip your 2x4s like me, then you have these great little 1 by 1.5 inches. Not quite square offcuts, and perfect for what we need. These are going to be the corner brackets. I like our height at 8 inches, and we have a 3/4 inch bottom, which I think I'm going to try to fit inside the walls for a more finished look. So let's cut these down to 7 1/4 and then sand them all up. In theory, this should be very easy. I flip over my bench top to the glue stained mess side you now see before you, and decide on a 1/4 inch gap between the 3 slats. And using a big framing square, I move right into the glue up. This is purely decorative. I mean, it will hold something, but not like 50 pounds of something. If you're going the DIY route, glue is probably fine here. I have a nail gun, so I'll be shooting some finished nails in and Titebond 3 for the glue. Grab the other side and repeat. Then start on the ends. I just stand them up, glue and shoot, glue and shoot. It goes together great, and for the first time, it's square on the first try. I measure the slats for the bottom and cut the fit. And then I realized there was one more thing I wanted to do to this. I like taking simpler projects and trying to elevate them a touch. And the big box stores version had a plywood bottom or maybe an MDF panel. The whole thing could be MDF for all I know. And we went with slats, and I love that look. But I remember thinking it looks like a fake crate without handles. And how do you grab it? The 1/4-inch gap is just too small. So, luckily I remembered in time and the glue hadn't dried. So I tapped the 2 top slats out, back out the nails, and draw a little cutoff for the handle. Now, if you can't do the handle, don't. It doesn't need it. I just think it adds a little bit. I mark up 3/4 inch from the bottom and add a rough curve, and probably do this wrong. I mean, how would you do it? I'm just going to hit the sander. It's pine. It should go right through it, I'm thinking. Would you cut it out first with a jigsaw or scroll saw? Honestly, I just didn't want to spend the time pulling out the scroll saw, so I hit it with the sander. Then we trace to the other side and sand that one as well. It goes quick, and honestly, it looks great. A little rustic flair to it. I round the edges over. For sure, you don't want splinters here. Then we glue and shoot it back down. Then move on to the bottom. If there's a weak link in the design, this is it. The middle 2 slats are going to rely completely on the glue and nails on the ends. But I think for what we're using it for, decoration, we should be good. You could, if you want, take another brace and shoot it along the bottom, giving it more strength. But I'm content with it for now. And for the first time ever, no blowouts. Not a one. Dried, we hit it up with the orbital, just going at the corners, adding some wear here and there. And then we stain it. I'm going watered down acrylic here. Since the second coat is going to be paint, I want a water stain, not an oil based. Plus, I'm going to mix the brown for a nice medium brown. Think milk chocolate. All dried, we break out the candle. I've heard of this trick before. It's common in DIY and craft circles. What I didn't know though, and what someone was so kind to point out, is that it should give the same peeling effect of paint as the Vaseline did in my farmhouse decor video from last Sunday. So, what we do is, we run the candle, pushing the wax into the wood where we want the paint to peel from. All the edges for sure, and maybe some thicker areas in places. Right now, I'll tell you, she was spot on. It's not as messy. A lot more control than the Vaseline. One of the things I did like with the Vaseline is it coated the paintbrush so the strokes had an amazing texture to them. I'm only doing the top 2 slats because the bottom one is going to be left brown. Now, the middle slat is going to be white. I add some plaster of Paris to make a quick chalk paint and paint it on. I'm just loosely trying to cover it. It's going to be rustic, so I don't want pristine. The top slat's going to be orange. I add a little black to dull up the brightness, just like the white, not too heavy but not too light. And it looks a little watery. I assume it's from the paintbrush not being 100% dry, so I just add some more plaster of Paris. All dry, we rub it down. And I'm liking that. Much more control than the Vaseline. I'm not getting the full-on peel effect of the Vaseline though, but it just could be the way I went at this. I'm for sure going to keep this one in the bag of tricks. And here we are. This is a great little build. This thing looks old, and she's built. Love the aged brown and the distressed colors. But you're not just limited to these colors. You can change them to anything. Pastel blues to white, and you're all set for your beach house. Floral pastels, you got Easter covered. Red, white, and blue, the 4th. Red, green, and white, Christmas. The original had graphics all over the slats. Pumpkin patch, pumpkin pie, Halloween. I'm not going that route. You can if you want. I just love the colors as they are. As always, thanks for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Until the next time.